This is a simple recreation of something like the Brady Bunch's intro video. What we're going to be doing here is making 4 different clips fit into 4 corners of the composition. We typically call this a 4 box. Place your 4 clips into the composition. For my case, I've put every clip into its own pre-comp and made sure to apply all the differences I need to. If you want to test out this feature, you can go ahead and just drop your clips into each one of these pre-comps, and then you'll be able to just implement it flat out like that. You want to make sure that all of your clips fill the entire composition in an even way. So you should have, at the end here, you should have 4 clips that take up the exact same amount of space on the screen. Having the scaling be correct is important for this. So let's go ahead and do this, but let's start over so we can walk you through the effect. Place your 4 clips onto the composition. If they don't fill the composition, make it do so. Having the scaling be correct is very important for this. Each of your clips should be the exact same dimensions. Alright, so I'm going to have the clip shuffle onto the composition first, each coming from another position than the last. Pull open the position properties for each of these by hitting P. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so we can take a better look and get our keyframes right. Set a keyframe for every clip and then one about a second later. You can do this all at the same time, and then we can distribute these an even distance from each other. Each of these clips will have a different way that I'm setting them. For example, clip A is going to be above the composition. And as you can see, it's right here. Clip B will come from the left of the composition, so I'll do minus 3840. Clip C will come from underneath the composition, so I'll do 2160. And when I say that, I mean I'm adding 2160 to the original value. So all of these areas where you can click onto them and change the value by typing in something specific, they will also take basic math expressions. So 1080 minus 400 will get you 680. But that's not what we're doing for this one. For this one, we're going to the right of the composition, so we'll add 3840. And there we go, we can't see any of these on screen. We actually have the keyframes in the reverse order. So I select all of them, I right click them, go to keyframe assistance and hit time reverse keyframes. I've set a hotkey for Ctrl-R to take the place here. Next, I automatically easy ease the keyframes, and in my case, once again, I will select all of them and pull them to the left. Now I'm going to distribute them by giving them a little bit of distance between each other. So I'm going to put clip 2 half a second later in the composition, clip 3 a full second later into the composition, and clip 4 a second and a half later into the composition. But these aren't in the right order, otherwise all you'll see is just A and like a remnant of clip number 2. So let's get these flipped so that these are in the right position. If you don't want to click and drag your individual layers, there are some controls you can use to do that just with the keyboard. So if you have a clip selected, you can use Ctrl up or down arrow to move to the layer above or below the one you have selected. You can also use Ctrl left arrow and right arrow to move one frame into the future, or Ctrl shift left or right arrow to go 10 frames into the composition. It kind of depends on what your FPS is set for in the composition. But if you want to move the layer's position in the overall composition, you want to use the open and close bracket near your backspace. So if I hit Control close bracket, it moves it up. If I hit Control open bracket, it moves it down. So let's preview it to make sure we're happy with it. There we go. Cool. Let's see it one more time. Awesome. Now that everything's in the right place, I'm going to give it a full second so that it can sort of breathe. We can see the one clip that we want to see the most. And we're going to go ahead and set a new keyframe position here. And then we'll do another one a second later. We're going to do the same thing to all our other clips, so be sure to do the same sort of distance between all of them. 30 frames later, I set a keyframe for the second clip, and I go a full second forward, make a new keyframe. I go back half a second, make a keyframe, go forward a second, make a keyframe for this clip here, go forward 30 frames, make a keyframe, and again, make a keyframe. So what we're doing here now is we need to go ahead, select all our clips, and hit S on top of P so that we can see our position and scale. So we can see the keyframes we've already set for the position. We're going to copy the exact location of where these keyframes are for our scale by just simply hitting the stopwatch and pressing the diamond to make new keyframes in those two positions. Using these arrows to go between the two keyframes that we have here so that we can simply put them right exactly where their partner keyframe is. You'll know if you have a keyframe on that exact frame if you see this diamond turn blue. I'm going to go ahead and already make this easy ease. I'm going to go ahead and start here, and I'm going to add a new scale. Go 30 frames forward, add scale keyframes to this one. I keep trying to say 30 seconds in the future. 30 frames forward, make keyframe here, and start keyframing clip D. And start keyframing clip 4. Then I'll set a new keyframe here. And once again, 30 frames into the future, we have another one here. So what we want to do at the end of these scale keyframes is we want to make sure that everything is the exact same. So what we're going to do so that this fills the entire composition evenly is we're going to set all of these to 50. And you can do that while you're setting all these keyframes up in the first place, just to make it easier on yourself. I'm just showing you how I've done this. Okay. So I already did the work for this. So we are going to put all these clips into a certain location. This is based on a 4K composition as I have here, 3840 by 2160. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we are on the second position keyframe for the ends when we make everything into the four corners. So this top clip, clip D, is going to come down here into the bottom right corner. So the exact position you want to set this to is 2880 at 1620. That's the exact midpoint that we're going to use, and we're going to sort of copy at least one of these when we work on another clip. So let's go ahead and do similar things to all the other clips. Now we're working on clip C's second keyframe here, and this one we're going to put at 960 and 1620. So you can see we copied 1620 from this one to that one. Basically what we've done here is we've added 1920 plus half of 1920. So in this case, we could do times 1.5. And see, it's exactly where it should be. But on the other hand, for this one, we did 1920 divided by 2. Or times 0.5, whatever one you want to do. We're going to do the same thing to our other two clips, and then we'll be done. So this is clip B, and it comes up here to the top right corner. So for this one, we're going to do times 1.5. But we're going to do this divided by 2. There we go. And one more. This divided by 2. And this divided by 2. And there we go. We have all of our clips set in the composition how we want them to be. And because I already did easy ease keyframes for this, we're going to go ahead and select all the other keyframes, set them to that, and we're going to make sure we go into the speed graph and see some of these are already crushed left. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that the rest of them are also crushed left without changing it like I almost did there when it came off of the line. So one little look here to see if that's what we're wanting. And there we go. Let's take another preview at it to make sure it's exactly how we want it. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. That is a simple 4-box. Like I said, you could use this template if you'd like and place your clips inside this. You just got to make sure that they last as long as you need them to. Thanks, and see you in the next video.